South Korea, meantime, says that tariff talks with the U.S. have stalled. But President Lee Jae-myung reportedly does not want to rush into a deal that forces Korean firms to sustain losses. The country's top trade envoy, meantime, is in Washington in hopes of finalizing the July agreement. Seoul is seeking to achieve a reduction in levies for its crucial auto industry, similar to Japan's, which kicked in today. CNA's senior correspondent Lim Yeon-suk has more.
South Korea's largest car maker, Hyundai Motor, is feeling the heat as Japanese exports to the U.S. faced a reduced tariff of 15% starting Tuesday. That's lower than the 25% imposed on South Korea's automakers, putting them at a disadvantage. Hyundai in July, when reporting on its second quarter earnings, said the impact of tariffs would be greater in the third and fourth quarters. The issue of tariffs and the recent raid on a Hyundai facility in the United States earlier this month were raised in Parliament on Tuesday, amid concerns that the country's economy could be hit badly. South Korea's Foreign Minister Yeo Han responded to lawmakers, saying it was trying to ease car makers' burden by finding a win-win outcome with the U.S. But he said Seoul would not rush the trade talks because it wants to protect its national interests and maintain a strong South Korea-U.S. relationship, and that South Korea could not sign a trade deal with the U.S. when the leaders met last month in Washington because the U.S. demands were not acceptable.
그 당시 패키지로는 우리가 수용할 수 없는 것이었기 때문에 문서화하는 것이 않는 것이 오히려 우리 국익을 지키는 것이다. 그리고 디테일에 있기 때문에 그것을 계속 협상을 하는 편이 우리 국익을 지키는 길이다 해서 그렇게 된 것입니다.
Trade Minister Yeo Han-koo is in Washington to continue negotiations. The tariff talks are underway at a time when both sides are also trying to mend strained ties, following a recent U.S. immigration raid where more than 300 South Korean workers were arrested at a battery plant in the state of Georgia, one of South Korea's biggest U.S. investment projects by Hyundai Motor and LG. South Korea's foreign ministry says it will soon start conducting a more thorough review with the companies to determine whether any human rights violations occurred during the raid. Anger over the raid continues to simmer in Seoul, with protest rallies planned for later this week. Over the weekend, hundreds took to the streets outside the U.S. Embassy, warning that they would boycott American goods if Washington keeps threatening South Korean interests. Lim Yeon-suk, CNA, Seoul.